desert heart of the UAE, archaeologists are making an amazing discovery.
Saruq al-Hadid is one of the major sites in the Arabian Peninsula, dates back to the Iron Ages. The discovery of this site will add to the history of Dubai and of UAE.
Beneath the dunes, a treasure trove of artifacts from thousands of years ago.
Why are they here? Why were they made here? And why, more importantly, were they left here? These are the questions that intrigue us when we try and understand this site.
Changing our view of the past and inspiring the future.
You're touching thousands of years of history. You know, without these objects, our history pages would be blank.
Saruq al-Hadid was discovered by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. He was flying in the helicopter and he noticed that the sand dunes in that area, the direction of the sand dunes are different than the rest of the area. So he thought that there is something different in that position. And it's very strange to find pieces of iron in the desert between the sands. So he asked the archaeological department to dig in that area. The site is about 2 kilometers by 1.5 kilometers, and only 10% of the site have been excavated, and that is about 8,000 pieces, including gold, iron, and pottery. It looks like it was an industrial city.
What makes this site stand out is the concentration of finds is remarkable. We have found over 1,000 objects so far this season, and that's crazy for an archaeological dig.
The amount of stuff they've left behind is quite extraordinary. You know, it was valuable back then. Like, we find copper cakes. Man, they would have been an expensive item, you know, and then to just leave it all behind is, why would you do that? And these are the questions we're trying to answer.
It's clear that precious metals are being exploited and used for the production of beautiful artefacts and jewellery by the time we get into the first millennium BC on quite a considerable scale. And Saruq is maybe a site where we find more than the tip of the iceberg. There's more preservation here, so we're getting very good results on those kind of artefacts that are normally rare.
What I have picked up on this object is a lot of detail coming up on the handle, which after many thousands of years covered in concretion, you don't see that. So it's important to reveal this information because it tells the story about manufacturing, the techniques that they employed and used to actually create these objects.
Imagery that we're finding on artefacts is very rich and evocative and does include this really dominant image of the serpent.
Maybe they were worshipping snakes, or they can take snakes as something to protect them. So the snakes, you find them on the pottery, you find them in gold, you find them in bronze and iron.
One of the most intriguing finds is the astonishing variety of gold rings.
These rings, which are used as necklaces, comes in different sizes and in different shapes also, which means that there were people with knowledge, people with science, how to use the gold, how to melt the gold, and this was a kind of civilization which graduated from a very simple kind of culture to a developed culture.
Precious seals from many nations reveal that thousands of years ago, this was already a place of connections.
We found more than 45 different seals from Mesopotamia, some seals from Delmon, from Bahrain, some seals from ancient Egypt, carrying some names of the ancient pharaohs.
This seal takes like a cylinder shapes. It's almost have the star shape. Maybe it means the king. and they roll it to stamp it.
The people who were living here, who created this civilization, were in connection, were in trade with different civilizations in the region. This is we can see in Saruq al-Hadid.
Since 2000 BC, Dubai was a city of industry, a city of trade, and this extends the history of Dubai for more than 3,000 years. And that, I think, is an important lesson which we learn of the history of Dubai.
The treasure of Saruq al-Hadid, this gift from history, a fitting symbol of Expo 2020 and its unique potential to create and to connect.